Welcome back to In Focus. I'm finally jumping on the bandwagon here. I wanted to turn my attention over to the movie that everyone is talking about right now, and that is Top Gun Maverick, the sequel to the 1986 Tom Cruise blockbuster that came out Memorial Day weekend and has been soaring ever since. According to Paramount, the film has earned over $540 million globally so far and is expected to break records once again this upcoming weekend. But as the saying goes, with success brings haters, lots of haters, and that seems to ring true here. Because according to reports, Paramount Pictures just got hit with a copyright lawsuit from the widow and son of the writer who inspired the original Top Gun movie. The suit was reportedly filed on Monday in California on behalf of the Yonye family. The lawsuit claims Top Gun Maverick is, quote, derivative of Yonye's original article, and also says Paramount did not reacquire the rights to the story before re-releasing the new film in May. Joining me now with a legal perspective on all of this is criminal defense attorney and anchor at Law and Crime Network, Bob Bianchi. Bob, thank you for being with me. I don't know if you have seen Top Gun Maverick. I have not seen Top Gun Maverick, so I'm operating a little bit in the dark. I feel like I've read and seen enough clips about it that I kind of have seen the movie, an honorary viewer. But that said, they're getting hit with this lawsuit. What do you make of this as a lawyer? Is there a legitimate case here for this lawsuit?
Yeah, there is. It's a very highly technical statutory case dealing with copyright law. And essentially what's being said here, look, we have to be realistic. Back in 1986 when Top Gun came out and it was a tremendous success, it was based on Mr. Yonye's story that he had written. In fact, he was even given credit for it in the credits to the 1986 movie. So essentially what's happened is that 35 years have gone by according to the statute. And back in 2018, the Yonye family wrote to Paramount saying that they are going to reclaim the copyright law pursuant to the statute. And they had to wait 2 years. And back in January 24th of 2020, they terminated the copyright and reclaimed the rights for themselves. During this period of time, this second movie, the sequel, is now in production. And so about a year after they reacquired the rights, the family reacquired the copyright rights they claim in their lawsuit, this movie was then published. And they're basically saying that they sent a cease and desist to Paramount. They notified Paramount back in 2018 that they were going to reclaim these rights. And from what we're reading in the articles right now, I reviewed the lawsuit, but what we're reading in the articles as to Paramount's defense is that they're saying that they deny that the 2022 sequel, the movie that's out right now, was derivative of the plaintiff's story, which I think is going to be really difficult for them to do given the close involvement of the Yonye story to the 1986 movie. And when we use the term sequel, by definition, we're saying it's an extension of the previous movie. So I think it's a legitimate lawsuit.
And how do you see this playing out in court? Do you think that they're going to reach a verdict? Do you think that they're going to settle? I know a lot of times with lawsuits like this, people just end up settling. They sue to kind of back people in a corner, and then they get their hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. Do you think they'll settle in this case, or will they see it through?
Well, if I were advising Paramount, look, you don't want the negative publicity. There's going to be an extraordinary amount of litigation risk here because they did reclaim these rights, and a jury very well may rule in their favor. And so when you have that kind of environment and you're making so much money, yeah, lawyers are going to come to the table ahead of time and say, in my opinion, look, we're willing to pay X amount of dollars, in order to settle this lawsuit and just move on from, that point forward. But the question always becomes, Addison, which is going to be a very obvious question to your viewers, how much will that be? That's the question.
Yeah, and they've raked in something to the tune of $500 million already. So how much do you think that they could get if they win this lawsuit or if they end up settling?
It's really hard to say. If they win the lawsuit, they're going to be seeking significant compensatory damages and maybe get all of it for, all we know. So there's risk on that end. So the lawyers on both sides are going to evaluate how legally correct is this lawsuit. And again, I said it's statutory just to explain that these rules are pretty specific and laid out. So if Paramount feels that they have some legal jeopardy here, and if you read this lawsuit, which was brought by a very reputable law firm and people in this business, then they have more of an incentive to settle this case to at least get, keep as much as they can. It's estimated, Addison, that this movie is going to make over $1 billion when all is said and done. So a lot of money at stake.
Well, and at the rate that they're raking in the money right now, it certainly seems that it will. Well, Bob, we are all out of time. I appreciate you breaking down the legal case for all of this. Thank you.
My pleasure.